What if the biggest threat to your financial future is not what you don't know, but it's actually what you are ignoring? Well, today we're going to talk about 4 financial realities that, if you continue to ignore them, could cost you greatly on your retirement journey in our financial freedom video. So definitely stay locked in. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, certified financial planner and president and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea Graves, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. For additional concepts on how to maximize your retirement, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos. We want to welcome you back to our channel. Well, Carson, today you're talking about 4 financial realities that could make or break your financial future.
Yes, absolutely, Andrew, because no matter if you're trying to save more money, if you're just trying to get out of debt, or you're just trying to be smarter with your money, there are 4 financial realities that you need to know about that could cost you big time if you decide to ignore them. And so that's what we're going to be talking about in our financial freedom video today. But before we get into that, there are 2 rules to retirement income that we like to give you. And Andrew, what are those 2 rules?
Well, rule number 1 is to never run out of money, and rule number 2 is to never forget rule number 1.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our lesson today to talk about 4 financial realities that you need to make sure you don't continue to ignore.
So, Carson, what are some of the biggest financial realities that people don't even realize are draining their wealth?
Well, as we're talking about today, Andrew, we're only talking about 4, but just to give you just a scope of what we're going to be going into in our teaching slides, some of the main financial realities that people overlook is like spending beyond their means. And another financial reality that many people make are poor investment decisions because of another financial reality of not hiring a professional like a certified financial planner who can help them make better investment decisions. And when people do overlook these financial realities, it can really cost them in the long run. So we're going to be talking about these realities today. And I want to make sure that I encourage you to stick around to the end because we're going to be talking about one financial reality that even the most responsible people, Andrea, tend to overlook. And it could definitely cost you big time. Okay, so now let's go ahead and transition over to our teaching slides and take a deeper dive into this lesson today. So now let's go ahead and talk about 4 financial realities that could really cost you big time. Well, reality number 1 is living paycheck to paycheck. We all know that living paycheck to paycheck can be very dangerous, but it's a lot more common than most people think. Over 66% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You might feel like you're managing things just fine, but when unexpected expenses hit, like medical bills or maybe car repairs, you could be in serious trouble here. Without a solid emergency fund, those quote unquote small emergencies can turn into major financial setbacks. So if you're just scraping by each month, now is going to be the time where you need to start building an emergency fund. Even just saving $500 can save you from a disaster. Reality number 2 is carrying too much credit card debt. Carrying credit card debt can cost you far more, of course, than you realize. When it comes to carrying credit card debt, high interest rates can mean that your balance can really spiral out of control. As of the 4th quarter of 2024, Americans, according to study, held approximately $1.2 trillion in credit card debt. It was a 7% increase from the prior year. The average individual in America carries about $10,757 in total credit card debt. That's on average. And of course, if you're only making the minimum payment on these credit cards, you're going to be barely covering the interest to pay that credit card off. So it can literally take years to pay off a credit card debt of $500 or more. That being said, paying off your credit cards as soon as possible will save you hundreds and even thousands of dollars in interest. Reality number 3, ignoring your retirement savings. Not saving for retirement early enough could cost you decades of financial security. The earlier you start, and I repeat this over and over, the more compound interest can work in your favor. Even a small monthly contribution can grow into a big, big nest egg over time. Studies show that 27% of Americans had savings below $1,000, and 12% of Americans had no savings, and 50% of Americans do not have a retirement plan. With that being noted, let's take a look at the impact of early savings. Let's just say you're a 25-year-old and you're investing $200 a month at an annual return of 6% a year. By the time you reach age 65, you would have saved approximately $398,000. If you started that same savings at 35 with the same rate of return, by the age of 65, you would only have accumulated $200,000. This illustration demonstrates that a 10-year delay in starting your retirement savings could result in nearly $200,000 less in your retirement savings. Reality number 4 is spending beyond your means. Now, living beyond your means is, of course, a recipe for disaster. It is easy to fall into the trap of buying things you don't need just because you can. Just because you have a credit limit doesn't mean you should max it out. Approximately 50% of Americans report spending more than they earn at least a few months every year. So how do you stop this? Of course, you want to create a budget and stick to it and prioritize your needs over your wants. And so I wanted to leave you for staying to the end with one final reality that even the most responsible people make, and that is holding too much cash. Keeping too much cash in a low yield account may feel safe, but it actually loses value over time due to inflation. Instead, you're going to want to speak with a financial advisor who can help you invest smarter to grow your money while still keeping those funds accessible to you. And if you really want to see the real impact of what holding too much cash really looks like, then look no further than the chart that we have on the screen here, because we have charted the inflation rate or the consumer price index from 2004 to 2024. And it shows that between that time period, the inflation rate was about 3.5% over that period of time on average. If you had kept that money in a savings account, we're showing you the rates of savings accounts compared to inflation each year, your savings would have actually been zero. Basically, you would have had a negative rate of return of 1.55% over that period of time had you been keeping that money in cash. So you want to make sure you don't make this mistake, because this can be one of the biggest reality checks that you ever have if you find yourself holding too much money in cash.
All right, Carson, so what's the moral of this video?
Well, the simple moral of this video, Andrea, is that ignoring financial realities today could really cost you your financial freedom for tomorrow. And just simply being aware of these financial realities that we've talked about today is really the first step to setting you up to financial success. And as always, we're going to encourage you to speak to a certified financial planner in your area who can help you formulate ideas around these topics that we've discussed today.
After this video, please check out our other videos that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers. Please note that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always seek out your own financial advisor, your own tax advisor, and your own attorney regarding your personal situation. Also, if you are looking for an independent fiduciary advisor to help you with these types of complex financial matters, we highly recommend that you utilize the links in our description below and go ahead and schedule a 1-hour free consultation with us today.